Hey, Dishin Days fans, it's been a minute, but here I am. I have the pleasure of sitting down with the tea spilling wedding crasher that we all loved this week. Please help me welcome Jackie Cox. Hi, Jackie.
I'm just here to ruin weddings and lives. I love doing
Well,
it.
I thought it was absolutely fantastic to revisit Jackie Cox because when we first were introduced to Jackie on Days, it was through Beyond Salem, and
hmm
you got to be Lisa Rinna in front of Lisa Rinna.
So the Lisa Rinna of it all is something that even I haven't been able to wrap my head around. People forget, like I lost the snatch game as Lisa Rinna. I mean, I was in the top, but I didn't actually win. But I think people just latched onto that impression or that
Yeah.
idea. I mean, personally, I feel like we're kindred spirits, and
Mhm.
so the Lisa Rinna of it all on Beyond Salem was such a meta moment because
Yeah.
it was me portraying a character that is me from RuPaul's Drag Race, portraying a character from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, off of the actress from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills playing a different character on Days of Our Lives. It was like I think the metaverse exploded with that Beyond Salem.
Oh, absolutely. Like, but how did that even come about? Because like, all of a sudden, like you just said, on RuPaul's Drag Race, you portrayed Lisa Rinna. You didn't win the Snatch Game, but you were in the top. But did you like ever think that one day you would get this call to portray Lisa as she's portraying Billy Reed on Days of Our Lives? Like, how did this all
I,
come
th-
about?
I mean, there's no way to to have predicted it. I mean, sure, in my wildest dreams, how amazing. But yeah, like no, they called me up. They were like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing like a little thing, a scene off with Lisa Rinna from Days of Our Lives?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then it turned out like it wasn't just like I thought it was gonna be just be like walking by and being like, "Hey," and like
Yeah.
a silly cameo, but it turned out that like I was the one who like knew where the emerald was
Yes.
and I'm the one who convinces all the other characters to go to the drag show. But then for
Hmm.
some reason, plot reasons, I'm not at the drag show. I was like, I don't even know what's happening. But it was very crazy, fast and loose, as everyone I'm sure you've ever talked to has always
Hmm.
said. It is so fast and it happened so quickly. Um, and then I thought that was it. Like how fun. Like maybe if they ever bring Lisa back, I can, do another cameo with her. But
Yeah.
I was surprised that the writers kind of latched onto, you have like 3 seconds with your actors, especially during the times of COVID, right? So
Hmm.
they make you stay in your dressing room until you're either doing camera blocking or actually filming the scene. So there's no
Yeah.
like, hey, let's meet in our dressing rooms and make choices and talk lines. It's like
Yeah.
you meet your co-stars when you get on set, if you're in my case, and there's no time really allowed to spend not there because of the way it all is.
Yeah.
But literally, I'm talking to Greg, and he's like, "So we're like really good friends, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I think we're really good friends." And he's like, and he said this. I don't know if the mics were recording or if Ron had like an earpiece and he was like, "Yeah," and then he's like, "Yeah," and we probably slept together at some point. And I was like, "Yeah, we probably did." And we were like decided all these things like literally right before we shoot the scene the first
Yeah.
time on Beyond Salem. And then I don't know, either they heard that or maybe they just like picked up on that vibe we were given.
Yeah.
But they kind of took that little bit of a thing with me and Leo and made it apparently a lot happened off camera.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, in Beyond Salem, it was just kind of like, oh, this is my good Judy, Jackie Cox, this world-renowned
Mhm.
drag queen, and she knows where the emerald is, and now we have this drag show. But, it's interesting because in daytime, they do sometimes take those off-camera tidbits and like really watch people and go, aha, and then like expand upon that. And people are like, where did this come from? And, we've heard that like, off camera, maybe two actors were just kind of talking and stuff, and people are like, there's something there. We're going to expand on that.
Greg is so fun, and
Yeah.
literally the fact that we were able to like come up with all of this stuff within 3 seconds before Beyond Salem, like I was just like, "Thank you for making this such a fun day," because
Yeah.
like we were supposed to be like the besties in that scene, and so
Yeah.
we did that like very quick actor work, so that was really fun, and then I had to turn on my man.
You did, but here's the other great thing that I thought was very interesting was that they just used you, Jackie Cox, instead of like creating a whole nother like character. Did you prefer that, or did you kind of wish like, oh, I wish like I could come in as like someone else and like really like zhuzh up this character a bit?
Well, what's fun about being Jackie is I guess like all the choices are the right ones because
Yeah.
it's me.
You can never, when you're a drag queen, you can never make the wrong choice.
It's never the wrong choice, right? So everyone's like, "Oh, this is really you," and I'm like, "No, it's definitely like a fictionalized version of me." And for my nerds in listening out there, it's very much like a Jackie from a different universe, like very multiverse of Jackies. Like
Yeah.
this Jackie is fully evil. And it's so funny that this all happens at a wedding because you and I met at a wedding where you got
We
to meet
did.
the good Jackie
Yes.
at Jonathan Bennett and James Vaughn's wedding. I feel like that's like the good Jackie of like our universe. And like
Yes.
this Jackie who shows up at weddings is a very different Jackie. She's backstabbing. She wants to be on the Jets.
Yeah.
She's there for the Demira coin and she doesn't care who she stabs in the back.
Exactly. Because the Jackie that I met was a wonderful entertainer, friendly singer who just was all about love that
All
day
about love. All
as she
about love.
graced and laid upon a piano and serenaded all guests, including the grooms.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was
Insert
not
insert
good.
photo of good Jackie here. This
Yes.
is good Jackie.
Yeah, it was that's so interesting that like we met at that wedding, and then to see this, I was like, mm-mm, that's not the same Jackie. That ain't the one because she didn't spill any tea at this last wedding.
No, not that I had any tea to spill, but
Yeah.
apparently, in Salem, I got a lot of tea on a lot of people.
Listen, in Salem, when there is a wedding, you know that there's about to be all kinds of stunt shows and shenanigans that are going to happen, and most likely those people are not going to get
No, oh, but
married.
well, you know what? I will say, and not to fast forward to the end, but my heart did actually break a little bit for Dr. Craig and Leo, just a little.
Same. I was just talking to my co-host, and I was just like, I actually really think that there was a plan initially to just get the coin. Like, he's cute, whatever, sugar daddy tease, I'll take it.
Hmm.
But then like he said, I think somewhere along the way, he did actually fall in love with, Dr. Craig Wesley. And
Hmm.
now for it to all just kind of blow up in his face, I was like, oh, but no, he really was into him.
It does mean Dr. Craig is single now, though. So,
So, so it's like, hello,
hi,
Dr. Craig. Hi.
hi. Do you want some spice in your life?
What were the, because Days is has been considered more of the most like conservative of the soaps, and even though we've had gay characters on the show, it was definitely always a progression. And then with Beyond Salem, it was like, boom, we now have drag queens and a drag show and some of the leading men in drag. And then cut to now the main show. We now have Jackie Cox in drag as well. Were you nervous at all about like the fans' reactions to the element of drag being added into the show?
Yeah, I mean, in a broader sense, I think what's so exciting about this chapter of Days is like, as much as I love, Wilson and like we stand that couple and that was like
Mhm.
great for the show, like they're almost like too perfect of a couple. And so I love that now we've gotten to a place where we have like some really messy gay characters. Like we're now like, you know what? Gay people are not perfect. There are some messy, messy bitches up in here. So I'm glad that we're there. And I think so from what I've seen of the fans, and maybe there's some dark dungeon Reddit somewhere where they're talking crap, but I've seen maybe one negative tweet about the fact that they brought a drag queen in. I think
Oh.
everyone is like here for the drama. I think it's so meta theatrical because drag is so influenced by soap operas, certainly my
Hmm.
kind of drag. And
Hmm.
that big over the top, those like grand dames of the soap operas are very much an influence to me. And
Yeah.
so to reflect that back in the show, I think it seems very natural. Like, here she is, she's walking in and she's telling Gwen to hold her purse and got some shit.
I mean, everything about it was like absolutely like fabulous. I mean, from the entrance, to the wedding, to the just like, here, girl, like, okay, we're about to spill the tea now. And the reactions of everyone was just like, is this happening? And you were just like, yeah, girl, yeah, this is happening. Like, we married. Like, don't try to act like we're not. And it was just like I really wish I was there. I wish I was sitting as one of the audience people and just watching all the shenanigans go down.
Well, what was also amazing for me was, like, in camera blocking, I had, like, my eye makeup on, but, like, I
Mhm.
that was it, and I was just like this, but with, like, eye makeup on, and so everyone was like, "What is she gonna do?" And then I show up in this, like, giant wig with, like, the whole 9 yards and everything, and they rescheduled the whole day around me because originally I was supposed to, like, pull off my wig very dramatically and be like,
Uh-huh.
"I'm Darius Rose," or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Well, what if I'm, like, really cute when I'm out of drag?" So I was like,
Yeah.
so that they rewrote the scene so that it cuts right as I'm about to, like, reveal who I am, and then it comes back as if, like, I've made everyone in Horton Square
Just
wait
wait.
while I take off my makeup, put on a suit that I also have somewhere with me. Like, where's the suit? Like, where did the suit come from? And all of a sudden, I'm not in drag at all. And I don't know if you see it on camera, but I have this like wipe that I just kind of pull away from my face, and I'm like, "So you see."
It was all very well. First of all, let's take a look at the fabulousness here. I mean, can we even? And then it was like it was that, and then like you said, it cut, and like then you were Darius, and I was like, now wait a minute. Now, if anyone knows drag, we know that is not that quick to get out of drag.
I mean, I was a little vain. I was just like, I really want my first time on Days of Our Lives, not in drag. I did not want to look a hot mess, but I will
Yeah.
say, I did like scrub and redo my boy face all during just the lunch hour. So we just had like we broke for lunch, and I did it all
Mhm.
like right then, and then I like so none of them had seen me without at least some makeup on because I came in with my eyes at least. And so all of a sudden
Mhm.
they were like, "Wait, who's this?" Like, like Nadia was like, "You're such a cute boy." Like she was like all about it. She was honestly just she was having the most fun of anyone there. She was just thought it was like the most fun thing. Um, and I'm gonna post it on my Instagram at some point. But when we did our like we did a big cast photo, and she came and she just like sat in front because she was like living her like she was at drag brunch that day. She was just
Yeah.
there to be at drag brunch. Like she was having the most fun of everyone.
So got a chance to kind of implement some ideas as far as like with Jackie and Darius and how that was going to go and everything like that.
Only in the sense that I wanted the change to happen off camera. Like I didn't want to
Yeah.
actually be like taking my makeup off and like
Yeah.
because look, as pretty as it may seem when you watch those Neutrogena commercials, when anyone takes off eye makeup, especially
It's
like
really like,
heavy, you look terrifying. You look evil. Like you look very scary. Like when all that black just melts all over your face, it looks absolutely hideous. So I was like, let's do that part off camera.
yeah, yeah. And how much of like, because there was a lot of like, like stuff about Jackie, like, the one woman show in New York and
Mhm,
everything like that. And I'm
mhm.
pretty sure people are wondering, I mean, I kind of already know, but a lot of people are probably wondering like how much of that really is the brand of Jackie Cox.
Yeah, so much of it was real. A lot of it was in the script. Like they added Jackie Vision, my show, that was in the script. That I was
Yeah,
Canadian, that was in the script.
yeah.
The only things I added, and I think there were two great additions to the script. I added the when I'm listing and I'm like, so you see, I'm not just Jackie Cox, like drag queen, entertainer, dancer. So I added Billy Reed enthusiast for the fans. I added Billy Reed enthusiast, and they let me keep it. Um, and the only other thing I added was at the very end when I'm saying bye to Chad, and I'm like, uh, and bring Belinda China Shop because, like, in my mind,
Yeah,
like Jackie is Chad's drag mom. So
yeah.
I was like, if you're coming to New York and that's going to be Beyond Salem 3, like, we're doing a whole drag family pageant.
I love, and listen, I want to be sitting there like looking at the drag pageant with like clappers and being like tens across the board and all of
I'm making it
that.
happen.
So, what were you mentioned? Nadia having like the time of her life and loving it. What were the reactions of other like cast members as like Jackie Cox was like walking to stage, and everyone else is seeing her. Like, what were the reactions of other cast members?
I mean, it was gags across the board. I will say,
Yeah.
so I was they put me right next to Patrika. We were in like dressing rooms next to each other, and she was so lovely the
Oh,
entire
she's the
time.
sweetest.
She was
Yeah.
just like, "Come hang out with me. I don't care about these COVID rules. Like, we're both tested. I mean, they're very strict about it all, but she was just like,
Mm.
just hang out with me. Like, I'll tell you everything there is to know." And she was talking to all of you. She's like, and eventually you'll be eligible for a daytime Emmy. I was like, really? She was just telling me all. She was like, all of the tea, and I felt very welcome by literally everyone, and even like, you know, some of the very handsome men on set. The minute that I was in the hallway, they were like, "Let's get a picture. You're so
Yeah.
fabulous," and it was really fun. It was a really fun day. After my drag scene, like they all applauded when I left. They were like, "You
Yeah.
nailed it," because we get such little time together and so few takes that they
Hmm.
were just like, "Wow, she came in, she just did the damn thing."
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
Oh, good. Were you nervous at all? Because like, there's you had the first experience with Beyond Salem, like, soaps, like all this stuff is like brand new.
Yeah.
Now you're on the main show. Like, what were the feels as you were going into it this time?
What's interesting is the drag stuff I wasn't as nervous about because I was
Mhm.
like, I know how Jackie would walk in. It was
Yeah.
the non-drag stuff and kind of, what are those choices I'm making? Like that the actory stuff was the part that made me most nervous for the
Mhm.
non-drag stuff because I was
Mhm.
like, okay, who is this person, like this person that looks like me but married someone for a green card, decided to go in on a scheme with them? Like, what were my
Right.
motivations? And like, I think I made a choice, and I don't know if it was the right or wrong one, that like there was part of me that kind of thought that me and Leo were like, maybe if we weren't like in love, that we at least had this plan together and that he cared a lot about me. And
Mhm.
so the fact that he was going through with this wedding with a prenup and was just going to marry this guy and leave me, because in my mind, I'm like, oh, does this mean I lose my green card status? Do I have to move back to Canada? Like,
Yeah,
what are
yeah,
all like the things? And so I think that was the part that made me nervous is like, am I making these right choices? We like, like everyone says, we get such little time that it
yeah.
was that was the part that made me nervous was all of the non-drag stuff.
Yeah.
So that was new for me. I haven't gotten to do as much stuff on camera out of drag. So that was
Yeah.
definitely the part I was more nervous about, but still fun. And I
Yeah.
will say, Billy was so like there and supportive for me because he was like literally standing next to me the whole time. And he was like, he showed me like where to hide my scripts. He showed me like what to do to make it happen. And, it was so sweet.
Yeah.
So that was really nice.
Oh, good. Well, I can honestly tell you, you nailed it as Jackie and as Darius. Like, I was completely here for it. My co-host like loved it. Like, I wish I was there to like talk to them about it because I know it's just going to be a kiki about the wedding. But it was really good, and I was just happy to see that like they brought you back, and like not only just in drag form but also in male form, because I think it's important to see both. And there was even like a teachable moment, I felt like, where I think someone initially asked, like, do I call you she or he? Like, you're like
Yeah.
out of drag. Do you feel like it's important, especially now that LGBTQIA characters are more visible in TV and films, that we do have those moments where we kind of clarify?
And
Um,
it's well, and what I wanted with that moment is, Kevin's from a different generation than me, than some of the audience, and in his generation, as a queer man, it's different. We didn't talk about pronouns, 10 years ago, right? So
right.
I think, his character has a genuine question. Dr. Craig
Mhm.
wants to know, like, are you he, she, like, what are you? And I
Yeah.
think, which, are there nicer ways to ask that question? Of course, but like, I think what it demonstrated for the audience is it's actually a very simple, non-emotional conversation. It's like,
Yeah.
if you are confused about someone's pronouns, you can just ask them, "What are your
Mhm.
pronouns?" You know,
Yeah.
and me as the character and as myself, I'm happy to answer it. It doesn't have to be scary. I think people think because pronouns matter so much to individuals that it's
Mhm.
scary to talk about or to clarify or to ask those questions. And
Yeah.
hopefully it was a moment where you just saw someone asking someone their pronouns and someone clarifying what their pronouns were, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was the entirety of the conversation. And it's what's scary is I think it's a new conversation for people. I think people just assumed if you're presenting male, you're he, if you're presenting female, you're she, and that's it, you know,
Mhm.
or not, you know, or it's whatever your assigned sex at birth is, whatever those things are. Like people think somehow it's a really hard conversation to have, and I think what we demonstrated in just 2 lines was that it takes 2 seconds and then it's over, and then everyone can move on, and it doesn't take any more time or brain space or emotional heartache or literally anything from anyone. So I'm glad we had
Yeah.
that brief moment, because hopefully it just showed people who maybe haven't had that conversation in their real life before that if and when they do have that conversation, how simple it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it doesn't have to start with no offense, or anything like
Sure.
that. But, it's just for clarity because I'm pretty sure there are, a lot of fans who watch Days who have that same question in that same moment. And for me watching it, I was like, I like this moment because, for this, more so conservative soap and probably more conservative viewers, this is new. Like for me, it's not new. I'm like, yes, girl, work. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
some other people are, they do have those questions, and we learn a lot from our favorite shows. So I like that they incorporated that, and it was the same with when they introduced gay characters to the show. It was definitely a progression, and I think a lot of fans appreciated being able to see how their favorite characters dealt with, someone coming out as gay, how that person was dealing with coming out as gay, the integration of being in love. Like they got to see all of that through that. So for me, it was a great moment, a great lesson for those who may not know. So
And I think too, what I also love, just in the more specific drag side, is, you know, drag is a performance. It's
mhm,
performance. For me, my character is a woman. Jackie's a woman, and I
mhm,
perform her, and she's a character. And you know, they always kind of wrote that into the show. Like Chad and Sunny picked me up at my show, and we went on the jet right away. So that's why I'm in full drag. And now that I'm telling my truth, I'm getting out of drag, and this is who I
yeah,
really am. And there's
yeah,
elements of, you know, gender expansion within myself that's not part of my drag character, but
mhm.
that I'm still a real person. And I love that the show, you know, so many scripts I get, I she gets many scripts,
She's she,
or like it's like the drag character is in full drag for no reason. You know, the bar's
uh,
closed. It's like 5 a.m. and she's just working there counting her tips. And I'm like, that's not how it would happen. That's not how
no,
anything happens. It's not how it is. You know,
yeah,
so it's like if I'm going to tell something and it's about for my truth, it might be easier to do out of drag. And I think I love that they showed that. They showed that we have internal lives. You know,
mhm,
I care about, having a green card. I care about my money and my relationships, just like any character would, so that
yeah,
we're not just kind of sometimes people write drag queens as just kind of the like sassy one-liners on the side, and I think
mhm,
we can be more than that. And so I love that the Days writing team was like, yeah, she's a full character who has an entire interior life that happens outside of the character and the performances of Jackie Cox, but that I'm still am an entertainer on the show
yeah,
as well. It helps to kind of explain and define what that is. I'm ready for there to be more trans representation on the show as well, so that
mhm,
we can have the real conversations around people still don't understand the difference between what drag is and what being trans is. And I'm
yeah,
so passionate to let people know that you can be both, you can be neither, you can be a trans woman who performs in drag, you can, all of these things are possible. And I think
yeah,
when people realize that that's not a scary thing, like just because the amount of boxes and options and things that people fit into are kind of limitless, that doesn't make them scary.
yeah,
Just because we have more
exactly,
than 2 boxes for each person to fit in doesn't mean that like having, an infinite number of boxes is a bad thing. It just means that there's more options. And for the writers, it gives more opportunities for characters to kind of weave in and out. And, I love that Dr. Craig came out as a gay man later in life. I
yeah,
love that even though I know people were really rooting for, Dr. Craig and Nancy to be forever one true
yeah,
pair, but in real life, that doesn't always happen. And I think that
yeah,
was okay to show and to let the audience experience that as well.
yeah. And a couple of things. Well, with Craig and Nancy, I think for a lot of fans, it was definitely a shock, only because initially, um, Craig and Nancy were that unlikely soap couple. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where you have this full figured woman with the hunky doctor. You didn't see that in soaps a lot. It was just these gorgeous people living gorgeous lives and like coming back from the dead. And so it was for a lot of fans, it was kind of like, wait, what? Like, what's happening? And like you said, sometimes later in life, people do discover themselves and they do realize who they are. And I think most fans were just like, let's make sure this has a purpose. Like we just don't break this couple up just for the sake of something. But the way it all played out, I thought, yes, there's reasons for this, and even with Jackie and Darius, it's so weird to say that, and it's like that's you.
The
The,
characters, the characters of
the
Jackie and
characters, the characters of Jackie and Darius were no different than any of the people who were standing at the altar because they were all about themselves too, and they were
yeah.
all getting ready to be exposed. And so it's good to just see that even though different characters come from different worlds, there's always still a common goal of self and me. So I think the wedding scene was more than not just tea spilling, but there were a lot of moments and a lot of layers in that, and a lot of understanding different types of characters. And like you said, you fell for Leo. You weren't there for Darius was like, okay, I didn't spill my tea. Now I'm back on the jet. I got a show to do. But even after that, there was more tea spilling and more like secrets exposed. And you felt for these characters. And it's like, man, this is sad. Salem is sad right
Yeah,
now.
Gwen shouldn't have, tried to kill everyone. You know?
Listen, Gwen has a whole sheet, but I'm like, who in Salem doesn't? Like everybody in Salem has done something, whether they've killed someone, come back from the dead, had a twin, tried to like inject someone with something. Like everyone has a story.
And I think it was the simple moment where Nancy says, like, even though we're not together, we'll always be a family. I thought was
Yeah.
so like sweet, but also so real. I mean, that happens
Mhm.
in divorces, regardless of sexuality. That happens in families all around. And I love that we showed, usually it's very dramatic, like, I'm never going to see you again, or I
Yeah.
curse the ground you walk on, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I love that we had this simple moment of like, yeah, this is the end of this chapter. We'll always be a family. We have our daughter. And like, that's beautiful to see. That's very real. And like, hopefully gives comfort to the many divorced people watching the show, the many people whose families don't look exactly the same as maybe what they envisioned when they were younger. I think that's important to show and to let people know that it is okay. And now Nancy's dating.
Yeah. Oh, yes, she is. Listen, I wish I had that much luck on one of these apps where one swipe and it's like, bing, there's a date. Like several months, I'm like, hello, is there
Yeah, well,
anyone
that's
there?
that's the fiction part.
That is the fiction part. Was there anything that we didn't see? Were all of your scenes like included, or was there something that was filmed and you're like, oh wait, what happened to that?
No, they literally kept every single thing, every little line I added. Like I added the part about bring money for tips. They kept all of it. I was like surprised. I was honestly gagged that they kept all of it. I mean, it was so much fun to do. I mean, the only thing is just I want there to be more. Now I want to know more about what happens to these characters.
Yeah,
How does this conversation with Leo and Jackie go when eventually? I mean, are they going to get a divorce? Are they going to stay married? Like, does she have to go back to Canada? Like, I want to know.
yeah,
So stay tuned because who knows
yeah.
what happens next.
Well, before we touch on that, whether there will be a return of Jackie or Darius to Salem, we at Dishin Days love playing games. So
Ooh,
we're going to play a game with Jackie, and it's going to be a who would you rather soap themed things.
okay.
We are going to use the fine gentlemen of the wedding. We have
Ooh,
Justin, Xander, Leo, Craig. I almost said Billy, and he would probably
Chad.
love that. Chad, Brady, and Jack. So, Jackie,
Okay.
in the soap world, all these things happen. But now I want to know who would you rather do these things with? And we'll start off just right out the gate. Share a steamy shower with.
Ooh, only because of the accent,
Uh-huh.
nothing else. I'm gonna say Xander,
Oh, when
just
I
for the accent.
listen, that shower would be extremely steamy if Xander was in. Did you not see him in a towel this week?
Oh, well, the towel. What about the whole Christmas special where they were all strippers?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Okay, who would you want to be in a love triangle with?
I think I am in a love triangle with Leo and Dr. Craig, but if it's not them,
Uh-huh.
then I don't know. The fans started picking up on it. Like, do Chad and Abby need a little more spice in their life?
Listen, Leo already tried, but listen, maybe they need a touch of Miss Jackie Cox to kind of seal the deal there.
I'm just saying maybe Leo wasn't the one, but I don't know. I don't know.
Jackie's got the magic touch.
Well, look, Abby wants to come to my show. They want to come to New York. What happens in New York will be aired on television.
All right, so in Salem, there's always some sort of like crime or something like
Mm.
shenanigans happening. Who would be your partner in crime?
So Leo's been my partner in crime. Clearly, we can't trust each other. So I'm
Right.
gonna go with Brady because at
Ooh.
least he could he has got the brawn to take down
Yeah.
anyone who kind of comes for us. So I'm gonna say Brady.
Okay. Who would be your best friend? Because we all need one good friend in Salem, but who do you think would be your best friend?
It's Chad.
Yeah.
Chad's my biffle. We're
Yeah.
besties. We're just hanging out drinking champagne on the Demira yacht.
Now, who do you think that Jackie would have an affair with?
Ooh, like I'm cheating on my person with this person.
Or this person is cheating on their person with you. Any sort of affair. Because that always happens in soaps. Someone's always cheating on someone.
That's true. That's
Mhm.
true. I mean, see, in my vision, for me and Chad and Abby, I think it's like the three of us are consenting to it. So I don't think it's an affair. I think it's just the three of
Just
us
three consenting adults. Just
having this moment. I would say, um, I think me and Dr. Craig could have kind of a steamy affair. Like
mm,
maybe, at some point, maybe he
mhm.
tries to work things out with Leo, but is secretly like keeping me on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
Just saying.
Okay. I
Just
mean,
saying.
listen, it's all about the coins.
That's very handsome rich doctor.
All right, and last but not least, soap operas are known for super couples. Who do you think Jackie would be a super couple with?
Hmm.
Like, this is the one. This is the person that you will always go back to, who will rescue you no matter what. If you were dead, they will not believe it. They will come find you. You're
Yeah.
stuck in the tunnel. There's,
Mhm.
you have this connection with this person.
Yeah, I
Who
hate
would
to
it be?
say it because I think it's not a great couple, but I think it's me and Leo, like, till the
Yeah.
end. I think, like, we are the 2, like we are the Boris and Natasha of the Days universe. He's little and he's, like, clever, and I'm, tall and glamorous, and I think that's the one true gay power couple of Salem. Sorry,
Yeah.
Wilson, you moved to Phoenix.
But
It's
see,
us now.
you two would be like, we have Wilson, which are
The
like the
perfect
goody
gays.
goodies. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And then you have you and Leo who are like, we love them together, but like there's always shenanigans with them. They're
always,
always like
always.
doing stuff in Salem. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. Well, that was who would you rather? We love that. Those were some great answers, Jackie. I
Sorry,
listen.
Justin and Jack. Next time.
Next
Who
time.
would I rather have officiate my wedding is not Justin.
Because we all know that wedding would not happen, or there would be a lot of stalling.
A lot of achoo. Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of the stage sneezes. Yeah, exactly.
It was almost like he was like, Brady, I don't know what else to do. Achoo!
Yeah.
Allergies.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, it was such a fun moment seeing you on the show, and I'm sure fans loved it, and the obvious question is, do we foresee Jackie or Darius or both returning to Salem at some point? And would you be open to coming back?
Oh, I would be back in a heartbeat. I love it. I love it because it's like it's so fun to film because it's so happens so fast that like your adrenaline's just going and you just have like a great time filming it. So it's definitely
Yeah.
fun and everyone's so nice there. Everyone on set feels like a family because they've all been working there for so long and like
Mhm.
everyone's so friendly and nice that like was such an amazing experience. I would go back in a heartbeat. Will I go back? I mean, the options are open. I'm a one woman, one man, one person show who can travel, who has access to private jets and can be in Salem within minutes, you know. So anytime they need me, I'll drop in. And you know, or maybe, you know, Salem is so close to P Town, like I could just come in for a little residency in Salem. I don't know, whatever they need. Um,
Listen, they've had that's why Chloe came back. She had a residency in Salem, so why not? You know what? Picture it, Salem, 2023. A new drag bar has opened, and Jackie Cox is headlining.
I mean, I think I'm investing in the bar. So here's the thing. I do get my hands on some money from one of these fine folks in Salem. I don't
Yeah.
know who. I don't know if Demira makes an investment. I don't know if I blackmail Dr. Craig Wesley out of the money, but I get enough money and,
Mm.
you know, to keep make sure my investment is producing dividends. I'm going to double down on Salem and maybe open my own drag establishment.
You know
Um,
what? I'm here for
Spice
it.
things up in Horton Square. Spice
Yeah.
things up a little bit.
Horton Town Square definitely needs some spicing up, and it definitely had that this week. But we definitely need more.
Yeah, just a tiny little gay bar that just, you know, it just takes up one little
Just a little
corner.
glitter, just a little
Yeah.
bit.
Something for the young characters to go do. You know, they're always looking for new places to cheat on each other.
Well, Jackie, it has been an absolute pleasure chit chatting with you. Oh, and by the way, because I meant to do this so that you guys know that the real Jackie Cox is not a wedding crasher. Here is the lovely Jackie Cox being her lovely self and entertaining our friends James and Jonathan at their wedding and not crashing or spilling tea.
Not ruining that wedding. Yeah, that's good, Jackie. And then evil Jackie lives in the Days universe.
Well, Jackie, tell the folks where they can find you so that they can keep up with all the fabulousness that is you.
Yeah, please do follow me, all you amazing Days fans. So many Days fans have like reached out to me, DM me, or tagged me in things. So thank you so much. I love being part of this family and this community. So yeah, at Jackie Cox NYC across all platforms. And yeah, please keep it coming. You know, and hey, the fans. I think the fan reaction to Beyond Salem is what brought me back this time. So
Mhm.
if y'all like Jackie on the regular show, sound off.
Listen, if it's one thing fans love to do is sound off. So you guys make sure that Ron and the writing team know that you want more Cox.
You're here for it. You're here for
We're here
Cox.
for it. We're here for it. Well, you guys can always find Lil Me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. And of course, you can find us everywhere on Dishin Days. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Jackie, thank you so much for joining us. And we hope to see more of you in Salem very soon.
Like glitter through the hourglass, honey.
Oh,
Very bad.
bye, everybody.